President of the Elections Commission says if the administrative regions are finalized and publicized in the Government Gazette by mid-September, local council elections could take place in November. Speaking to MNBC ONE, Commission President Fuad Tawfiq stated that the elections were delayed because the administrative reasons were not finalized by the set date. He added that elections could take place in November only if it is published in the Gazette by September 15th. Law on stating administrative regions note that it is the responsibility of the President to finalize the regions and publish that in the Gazette. Community Health and Disease Control Unit says bill on tobacco control in Maldives is weaker than in other countries. Nevertheless, having any form of legislation is a milestone in the unit's efforts in tobacco control.
Maldives has seen several attempts to ban smoking in the past. Though regulations had been ratified, the number of people following these regulations is declining. According to the Ministry of Health, the main obstruction for the ban is the import and advertisement of narcotics. The ministry also reported that people involved in the business at times violate the regulation on control and ban of tobacco. In this manner, one of the challenges to control is the sale of cigarettes from the street vendors. Also, display counters, T-shirts and other items with cigarette brand names is an increasing trend, limiting the ban to a great extent. The sale of cigarettes to juveniles is also an issue. Under the law on tobacco control, President Nasheed has now created a special board to regulate the process. Following the regulation of the boards, any violation of the law on tobacco control and the rules imposed by the board would be penalized with a fine ranging from 500 rupiah to 100,000 rupiah. Director General of the Center for Community Health and Disease Control, Dr. Ahmad Jamshid, highlighted that taxes imposed in foreign legislature are even more rigorous. Official statistics from the Customs Service of Maldives show that Maldives imported over 3 million cigarettes worth over 114 million Maldivian rupiah in 2009. This year, from January to March, a total of 24,471,194.80 cigarettes had been imported into Maldives.
Judicial Service Commission elects Supreme Court Judge Adam Muhammad Abdullah as the Commission's president. At the 98th meeting of the Commission held last night, they also elected parliamentarian Dr. Afrashim Ali as the Vice President of the Judicial Service Commission. The posts of President and Vice President of the JSC had been vacant since JSC was re-elected. Housing Ministry says practical work of the 500 housing units in Malé would commence within 2 weeks. The project of 500 housing units is carried out by the Indian company Cargoal 18 SG. These 500 housing units are among the 1,000 housing units to be built in Malé. 4 land plots have been allocated for the project, of which 2 have been handed over to the company. The 2 plots handed over are the plot formerly occupied by the Odeon Cinema and the plot behind Cinemale Flats. Clearing the remaining plots is currently underway. The government of Maldives signed the housing agreement with the Indian company Cargoal on the 26th of May 2010. The 500 housing units would be constructed in 2 phases. The first 350 houses will be built in the first phase and 144 houses are to be built in the second. Housing Ministry also notes practical work of the 1,000 housing units in Hulmale would commence in November. The project is carried out by Chinese CMAC company. The latest agreement on the project was signed on the 22nd of August. This is a loan agreement leased by Exim Bank. Ministry of Housing stated that all paperwork of the project are now complete. Superintendent of Police Muhammad Jinnah says they do not accept that cases filed in court through the Prosecutor General have not reached verdicts due to lack of solid evidence. Speaking at a press conference, Jinnah stated that the cases which are filed at court by the Prosecutor General's office are cases with supporting evidence. He said that they do not want to be in contempt of court. He added, however, that the fact that High Court had passed verdicts in cases of appeal contradicts the claims by lower courts that the cases lack solid evidence.